Back again. Back again. I'm back, y'all. I'm back. Did you miss me? I need a bit of a break. Okay, a bit of a break. All right. But I'm back now. And I want to talk about the Beckhams, family estrangement, entitlement. Why does it feel like when a child decides to go no contact, a child decides, I want to put my new family first, the world hates them? Okay. I really feel like, society does not like the generation of people who are deciding to go no contact, parental estrangement, and sometimes choosing my new wife over the family that birthed me. Okay. Now we're going to get into the drama, into the mix, but I need you guys to first hit that like button. Okay. Subscribe to the channel. We need some likes over here. We need some help. Okay. I need y'all to help me out and just, hit that like button and support the channel. Now, if you are new here, I'm Denise Brady. I'm a licensed, I'm licensed, y'all, therapist to a lot of people. Okay. And over here, we get into some hot topics, things of the past, things of today, and a lot of parental relationships. Now, as you're watching this video, ask yourself about your own parental relationship. What has come into place when you brought a partner in? Do you think your family is enmeshed? Has it been hard for you to have relationships with people outside of your core family because no one's good enough? No one's good enough for my son. No one's good enough for my daughter. And at times, have you felt like you were not good enough? Or maybe you had to put up a front because of the public admiration for your family, what society, what the town thought of your family, and you've been living a life for so long. Now, over these last couple of days, years before, there's been a lot of parental dynamics, estrangement, different dysfunctional things happening in the Beckhams. Now, for the most part, they are a very private family. And we don't hear a lot about them because they are so private. So to have these text messages, the IG stories be unleashed, it's like, oh, wow. Okay, all that, glimmers is not all that good. And money can only take you so far. Money cannot, protect you from your kids deciding, I don't have to deal with you no more. Okay, so I want to talk about high profile families and explore common estrangement patterns. You might not have all the money, but you may have gone through some of the same thing. Now, this isn't so much about just this family, but about, I think, the royals in general. Have you noticed the pattern that the royals decide, when they decide to choose their new wives? Oh, yeah, we don't know. You got to go. Okay, you want to choose that woman over us? Okay, I want you guys to recognize yourselves in some of these patterns. Now, those of you who may not know what's going on, I got you, boo boo. I got you. Okay, so let's watch the breakdown of what's going on. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. Okay.
Okay, so I'm talking about David and Victoria Beckham, Posh Spice and Bend It Like Beckham, iconic couple from the 90s. Yeah, so they had 4 kids, and one of them is causing some family drama by putting their business out on the internet. Okay. This Monday, he on Instagram put out some slides of, really long, explaining the family drama, black background, white text. Pretty effective way to communicate, if you ask me.
Okay, it's not the video I want y'all to watch. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, I gotta get my shit together real quick. It's a little ghetto over here. It's a little ghetto, but let me find my video. Okay, here we go.
Settle in because I'm about to connect the chaos of the very public unraveling of the Beckham family. Let's flow through it. A little quick background. David Beckham and Victoria Beckham got married in 1999 at the height of their fame. This turned into an immediate power couple. Over the next 2 decades, they built not just a family, but a billion-dollar brand Beckham, spanning across sports, fashion, and entertainment. Together, they have 4 children, Brooklyn, who's 26, Romeo, who's 23, Cruz, who's 20, and Harper, who's 14. All of the drama is surrounding their eldest, Brooklyn, and his now wife, Nicola Peltz. This all started back in 2019 when Brooklyn Beckham met billionaire heiress Nicola Peltz. By July of 2020, they were engaged, and publicly everything seemed great. For their engagement announcement, Nicola wore a yellow dress by Victoria Beckham, which seems like a small detail, but it comes in handy later. There have always been rumors that there's been a little bit of feuding, but fast forward to this past weekend, Brooklyn posted on his Instagram stories a lengthy and jarring statement about the state of their family and all of the insane drama that happened between here and here. One of the things Brooklyn claims was in 2021, Victoria and David pressured him to sign away the rights to his name for brand Beckham for business purposes. He alleges that incentives were involved and he refused. And from that point on, the relationship shifted from family dynamics to business.
Wait, sign away my name, my all my opportunities. Now, why would a family want me to sign away my rights? The money I can get off of our brand, our name. Here comes power and control and manipulation. Okay. Let me know in the comments, why would a wealthy family need a child to sign away their rights and opportunities? You see in most families, the Kardashians, they trademark the names. Okay. Beyonce, they trademark to protect the children. But this seems like to me just right now that it's more about how much money we're going to make and protecting our brand versus protecting our children. Okay.
Issues. In April of 2022, Brooklyn and Nicola get married in Palm Beach in a lavish wedding that reportedly cost several millions of dollars. The wedding is where Dressgate happens, and this is where the rumors of a rift between Nicola and her now mother-in-law, Victoria Beckham, really started exploding online. Nicola wore a wedding dress by Valentino instead of the couture fashion line her mother-in-law makes, Victoria Beckham. Nicola at the time said that scheduling issues are what prevented Victoria from designing her dress. Brooklyn claims something very different went down. Brooklyn alleges that Victoria canceled the dress at the 11th hour to sabotage Nicola. But there is a Vogue article that came out around the time of the wedding that said that Nicola and Valentino had been working on this dress for over a year together. So as for the wedding issues, the jury is still out on Dressgate if it was actually sabotage or if it was scheduling. He also alleged that the night before their wedding, Brooklyn's family members were going up to Nicola saying she's not blood, saying she's not real family. But the most debated moment is the first dance. Mark Anthony, famous singer, friend of Victoria and David, performed at the reception. And after the wedding, there was an account, and he asked Brooklyn to come up stage and dance the most beautiful woman in the room tonight, which you would think would be the bride, but it was actually his mother, Victoria. According to Brooklyn, this was supposed to be a moment between him and his new wife, but Victoria hijacked this moment and made it humiliating, inappropriate, and totally embarrassing for him. For a quick fact check, photos of the night do show that Brooklyn and Nicola did have a romantic first dance together. So again, jury is still out on what really went down with this first dance drama. So what's gone down since then? They had a vow renewal without the Beckhams there. Brooklyn and Nicola did not attend David Beckham's 50th birthday, but in Brooklyn's Instagram stories, he said that they tried to go celebrate with his dad and asked to do it privately instead of at the party. And allegedly, David turned this down and said he would only talk to him if cameras were there and if Nicola was not. Then in December.
Okay, so let's start breaking this down. All right. So we have this lavish wedding. Okay, spend all this money. But my mom got in the way so much that I want to have a separate wedding. Okay. Something private, something excuse me, not in the public eye. Let that settle with y'all. Okay. I think sometimes families get so caught up in public perception and how they are seen by the public that it starts to filter down and hurt their relationship with their children. Okay. We don't talk enough about, how these things could be small to parents, but can really have a detrimental effect on the child, that they want to have a separate private thing to just have the memory over again. Okay, now this is all alleged to him. Of course, there are three sides to every story. His side, his parents' side, and whatever the truth is. Okay, but I want people to know that estrangement, it comes up over time. I think there are certain generations of people who feel like children, adults wake up one day and decide, you know what? I'm washing my hands of you. Okay, that I'm done. But it's not like that. Okay, it's not that I decide one day to wake up and decide, I want this morning I have some cereal. You know what? Let me just block my mama. Okay, let me block my daddy. Okay, it accumulates resentment. And if you look at the timeline, according to the Sun, it was at least 6 years of this relationship, but I'm sure there's stuff before that. But once he brought in the wife, okay, I'm sure there were boundary violations and the loyalty. Okay, are you going to be loyal to us? Are you going to be loyal to that new wife over there? Okay, and what were some of the unspoken expectations that were placed on, the son and his new wife? And there's also in the background all this money going around. All right. But I can see how I am a woman of money. I'm a fashionista. Of course, I'm going to do your gown right. Of course, me. But that's where that entitlement comes from. Not only that, but the pressure of I want to get into this family. I want to have the mom like me. So the best thing is to go with her to make my dress because she is posh spice. Okay. But what about me? Okay. What about my needs? What about I kind of want to go over here with this person to do my gown instead of my new mother-in-law. And then you have the you're not going to choose me. Okay. Estrangement is often the end result of unresolved relational patterns, not a single incident. It's not about the dress. Okay. It's not about him deciding to date this person that I wonder if they thought that there was someone better than him. Okay, the mama not liking this girl being not good enough for him. All right. But I feel like in this whole saga, there is a level of blind loyalty. Okay, that you have to be loyal to us and be blind to everything else. All that matters is you are loyal to us, even as an adult child. Okay, and I could tell that in this case, and maybe in other family situations that maybe you guys can chime in the chat, you have had to choose between your family of origin and the new family you are building, whether it's a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a spouse, having to choose between I love this new person, I want to make a family with them, but my family over here of origin does not like them. Okay, does not like them. Where do I find myself in this struggle to have my parents release control over me? And since they're not releasing control, or I don't feel like they are, this creates distance. And I have to put this distance in place to protect my peace, my voice, my autonomy. Okay. Sometimes estrangement is a boundary, but I think a lot of parents see it as punishment because they make it all about themselves and not about the needs of my child, not listening to what maybe they are saying to me. What are their needs? What can I do to show up for them? And because a child at times has felt like I have never heard the what can I do for you? What do you need from me? Oh, I'm going to show you. My voice is now going to be very loud with the block. My voice is going to be very loud with the no. My voice is going to be very loud with silence. Okay. My autonomy comes with silence. And I think in these high profile families, there's this pressure to maintain a perfect image. And there must have been some breaking point recently where he decided I am tired of protecting them and putting my peace over here. And a lot of y'all can relate to that. You're always protecting the abuser. Okay. Sometimes you're protecting the perpetrator. The family protects the perpetrator, the person who's done things to you that you are still living with. And it's like, why is it okay for Uncle Sam to come to the barbecue after everything he did to me? Okay. Protecting the abuser. What happens to the pain that I am dealing with? Okay. What happens to the things that I still remember? What happens to the things that when I see him, my body just crinkles? Okay. Those things don't matter because Uncle Sam makes good ribs. Okay. His wife makes a good peach cobbler and we want a peach cobbler. All right. So then they push all that aside and you're like, how do I take back my power when all they care about is image over morals and values? Okay. And I think we're seeing with this family, when conflict becomes public, shame, pride, and defensiveness can replace vulnerability. Image conscious families may avoid repair because it requires them to develop some humility. Okay. Image conscious people sometimes don't care about humility and repair. What does the world see and think about me? Okay. What does the world see and think about me? That's all that really matters. Okay. That's all that really matters. And I wonder for you guys, do you feel like the relationship is repairable? Okay. Is it repairable? Because in some ways, long as he's with the wife, it won't be. Okay. And I think he's clearly saying, I need to protect my emotional safety. Okay. Estrangement sometimes is about protecting emotional safety. It's not about revenge. Okay. I am seeking emotional regulation, psychological safety. I am seeking peace. I am seeking relief from chronic stress. I am seeking to take back my power. Once again, estrangement is not a last resort. Sometimes it's just like, it's the first choice, but I've been scared. I've wanted to do it for so long, but I've been scared. So it became a last resort because my fear consumed me. I was too afraid of what people would think about me, the shame, the guilt. What if something happens to my mother or my father while I block them, while I'm going no contact? How could I live with knowing that this is very common? How could I live with knowing that something terrible happened to my family or my mom, my dad, while I was going no contact? And those are the thoughts, the what ifs, the maybes that keep y'all shackled. And I, as a therapist, can honestly say there is no clear-cut answer for how do you handle that guilt, that shame. And I'm being honest about that because it comes up in a lot of my sessions. I don't want to go no contact because what if my mom dies while I'm going no contact? What if something happens to them? And I think most therapists will try and tell you, well, do it anyway. We'll try and fill in the blank and give you the right answer. There really is no right answer, y'all. Y'all know we gotta keep it real. Okay. There is no right answer to how to cope with that, how to deal with that, how to get rid of those thoughts and feelings. I think it's just more about trying to decide if the maybe is going to consume you more than I need my peace, I need to protect myself. And maybe, that maybe what if something happens is bigger than I need my peace. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to tell you right now as a therapist, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? There isn't. It is your life. You have to make a decision what's best for you. And sometimes that what if something happens is bigger than my need for autonomy, safety. Okay. And I don't want to shame you for that. Okay. I don't want to shame you for that because there's no right answer. There's no cookie cutter thing as a therapist I can say to help you get over or ignore the what if something happens. So you gotta do what's best for you. Okay. Okay. But I think let's talk about, the myths about parental estrangement and why is it that society seems to hate when adult children publicly out their families? Okay. There are these beliefs that estrangement means a child is ungrateful. Good parents are owed access. Family should always come first no matter what. Let's replace that with healthy relationships are mutual. Healthy relationships are mutual even in families. Love doesn't cancel out harm. And reconciliation requires accountability, not just time. Sometimes people go no contact and they go back and they unblock, they let the person back in. But when you're reconciling with your parents, did y'all talk about what made y'all go no contact? Or was it the guilt and the shame, the pressure from other family members that made you decide, okay, let me unblock them? Okay, that there's really no real accountability. It's like, okay, this is what Sheila does. Every 6 months she blocked me, but around the holidays, she gonna get sad. She gonna call me up. I'm gonna be drunk again. Okay, I'm gonna be on the influence of something, and she don't come around. It's the same old thing. So I think people have to get uncomfortable and get comfortable with holding people accountable, whatever that looks like in your life. Okay, whatever it looks like in your life, and deal with the grief on all sides when it comes to parental estrangement. Parents grieve lost access and identity. Sometimes y'all need to deal with that. Okay, adult children grieve the parents they wish they had. That's hard. Public families grieve privately while being judged publicly. Estrangement is a grief process, not a victory. There's a lot of grief. People think like, oh, once I go no contact, everything is going to be good, right? It's going to be kosher. But there's a lot of shame, guilt, and grief that comes along with going no contact that we must acknowledge and we must talk about, because those things are oftentimes swept away, not talked about. Just go no contact, right? But what happens when you do and you have all these feelings and thoughts and nowhere to go to talk to them, anybody to talk about, because my friends are tired of hearing about me talk about my parents. My significant other is tired of me. So what do I do with the feelings that still linger from, I did it, but damn, I feel like shit now. Okay? I feel like shit. Okay? I want to offer you the idea that sit with the discomfort. Sit with it. Journal about it. Voice notes. Video journal. Release it. 1, 2, 3. Release it. Scream it out loud. Go somewhere where you can just scream it out loud and release it from your body, release it from your soul. Because if you do not, it's going to continue to consume you and take over. Okay. And then you're going to be living in this body of pain, of poison, while your mother and your father is living their best life. They're not even thinking about all the shit that you think about, the shame and the guilt. So I want to give you that perspective, but I want you to release it. I want you to learn to sit with it so that it can come up and get out of you. Okay, and get out of you. But in this Beckham case, in this situation, I don't think hope is completely lost. I think they need boundaries, respect. I think a lot of people can learn from this situation. Healing can occur with or without reconciliation. Let me remind you, you could heal whether you choose to go back or you choose to not. You don't need to confront. You don't need to have a relationship with somebody. You don't need to go to therapy with your parents to heal. You can heal without them being present. Okay. Now, if this, situation really resonated with you, where do boundaries feel ignored? What conversations were never safe to have out loud? What would emotional repair look like? Okay. And I want you guys to know estrangement isn't about cutting people off. It's about what happens when connections stop feeling safe. When connections stop feeling safe, y'all. Okay. I think we can learn a lot about ourselves, family dynamics from this situation. I think it can also trigger some things in people. So I want you guys to kind of sit with that also. Take a deep breath. And release it. Okay. But let me know your thoughts, what came up for you. I think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. I think there's 3 sides. Well, actually, like multiple sides: the mama, the daddy, and the truth, whatever it is out there. And at times, have you had to choose your new family over your family of origin? Okay. Let me know your thoughts. I'm Denise Brady. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. Please hit that like button. Okay. Hype up the video, leave some comments. What has your own estrangement, no contact experience been like? And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. See ya. You did hit that like button, right? You did, right? You haven't yet. Okay, hit it right now.